Hi guys, welcome back to F1 Podcast. We've just talked about the 2009 regulation changes, and we're here to talk about the 2010
and there's more.
engine regs. Yes, there's more. Pep, let's start off with engines. Right?
Yeah, engines is the first one, of course, and again, they're just trying to make things cheaper, Max. They're talking about €5 million for a customer engine. If you're going to supply someone with another engine, it can't be more than €5 million. And Max, it comes down to the same old thing about auditing and checking these things. How do you check it? But they're trying to make customer engines cheaper. So we'll see.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, it's a massive cost-cutting saving, I guess, and this could have the potential, or one of the things that could have the potential for another manufacturer potentially, or another consortium to buy into Formula One.
Yeah.
If the costs are going to be cheap.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you want to build your own engine, you do that. If you want to take the Cosworth option, you do that. Or you can get a customer engine. So, I don't see a problem with that. And they're also extending the freeze time as well. I mean, these freezers have sort of been around for a few years in Formula One. And now they're saying that in 2011, 2012, the engine kind of has to stay the same. And at the risk of repeating myself, Max, I mean, they're always going to make small changes, and there's always might be a question mark, but they're trying to extend the life of the engine and say, okay guys, you build an engine, it has to last for the next couple of years.
Yeah, homologation, I guess, is what it's called, or excuse my pronunciation. Yeah, and static engines, basically. Whether or not that lasts, I don't know. Waiting with anticipation for the new Concord agreement. But hey, I can see why they're doing it from a cost-cutting measure, but as a pure Formula One fan who really wants V10s and slicks back, which I'm not going to get, look, I can understand this, and I mean, no team would argue with the cost-cutting measures so far.
Yeah, and they've even talked about maybe moving into transmissions and gearboxes, so they're going to keep extending that, Max. And they've also started talking about chassis, which I was a little bit surprised about at first. I thought I'll just leave the chassis alone, let them just build their chassis. And they're talking about sort of competitive performance differentiators versus just sort of normal chassis development, I guess, Max.
And so they bloody should.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried a couple of weeks ago when there was a potential for primarily standard engines. Cosworth were. I was thinking in my mind's eye, oh my God, they're going to supply the majority of the teams except for the McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Renault. Honda's gone, Toyota, but the rest of the teams almost. You could get standard engines. So I was a bit worried about that. But the one thing I didn't want them to change or take away was the chassis.
Yeah.
And if we're going to have standard engines for a majority of the teams, and I'm sure that they would like to be able to. Hopefully beat their opposition with the same engine, with some differentiators, and the best place to do that, not only would it be aerodynamics, but with your chassis.
Yeah, I mean, the words they use is competitive element and performance differentiator, and to me, when a team, use the shark fin as an example this year, when a team creates something, they have a go, and suddenly 3 or 4 other teams copy it. That could be considered to be a competitive element where you say, okay, well, you're basically just copying. But if you are building a chassis...
But that's the beauty of Formula One. Spying has been going on
since
1950.
Exactly, and that's a competitive element, but a performance differentiator is where you basically say, well, I've built something on my chassis that you might not see, or I'm just doing something that
it's under the cover.
Exactly, it's not so obvious, so I can see why they're just sort of formalising what's been around in Formula 1 forever, Max, which is just copying and making sure that there's certain parts of the chassis that maintain,
their integrity or their competitive advantage.
Exactly.
That's the thing. I'd be using beryllium, mate. And when it came to scrutineering...
You love beryllium.
I love beryllium. I'd unscrew the bolt and put a metal bolt on and go, scrutinise that. Yeah, we were slow. We were heavy. Yeah.
Alright, Max, let's finish off with the race weekend. We've got a ban on tyre warmers. We've got a ban on refueling. They're banning everything, Max. And we've got a possible race reduction in terms of the time. I think they banned the the refueling once before. They tried to spice things up, and I really like the fact that the cars come into the pits, Max, and take a splash and dash. And I
Potentially set someone on fire.
Exactly.
Run over someone. Yeah, I love it.
It adds a bit of spice, Max. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't, the tyre warmers I really don't care about. I mean, I think that the tyre manufacturers, I understand the safety aspect, but they should be able to build a tyre that can handle all sorts of conditions. But the pit stops, Max, I want to see the refueling. I like that.
You like the refueling? All right, just go back to your first point, the loss of tyre warmers. The drivers themselves, if they're going to lose tyre warmers, they should be almost borderline more happier that they're going to be running around on slicks next year and not groove tyres, mate, because without tyre warmers on groove tyres, it'd take you a little bit longer, I reckon, to source the tyres up. Mind you, I'm sure a lot of you engineers out there will disagree with me, but I'd rather no tyre warmers on big, juicy, fat slicks, mate, than on groove tyres, so I'm cool with that. What was the other one?
Refueling, no more refueling. Yeah.
And for all the reasons I mentioned a second ago, I quite like refueling.
Splash and dash.
Yeah, setting people on fire, running over people, bumping into people, not being ready when a team comes in, not being ready when there's two cars that come at the same time. That's just such
everyone having
dimension.
The standard refueling rig, but somehow different, and
Ferrari's lights and all that sort of thing, and lollipop
nozzles and filters, and that's great.
Mucking around with the fuel nozzle so it lifts off easy.
Yeah,
that's illegal, but
no,
that's engineering.
Yeah,
love that sort of thing. So just as a spectacle, I think we should keep refueling.
All right, and possible reduction in race distance. I'm actually really happy with the current system where it's kind of an hour and a half, 2 hours. And there's a limit, on number of laps and things. So, I don't see that. I don't want these little sprints where they're trying to encourage overtaking just by having like a 20 lap sprint or something, Max.
And I agree. Look, 2 words in that sentence that concern me: possible and reduction. If let's say they get rid of refueling, right? You're just going to have to reduce the length of a race. I mean, there's no argument about it. You can't continue to do like 60 laps of a race if there's no refueling.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you cut it in half or what, but it just concerns me anyway. Even if there was refueling, reducing the time of a race, roughly 2 hours. All right. If the fans' attention spans are that short that they can't watch for 2 hours and be on the edge of their fucking seat, even in boring races, man, I don't know what's going on.
It's the right length of time. I don't think that.
Don't mess with something that works.
Yeah, exactly. And they're desperately trying. You can see, Max. You're looking through all this stuff, and you can
less
see
laps means less fuel. Yeah, that's a saving. Forget the fans. Oh, I'm fired up.
All right, guys. Well, yeah, you are fired up. That's cool. Guys, that's it. We're finished with this. That's the list, Max.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll be resuming normal podcasts next time. There's been some Jerez testing and more coming, but the usual stuff's coming, Max.
Oh,
and a few other things.
As Murray used to say, anything can happen in Formula 1. It usually does. So no doubt between the time that we do the next podcast, something else will have happened.
All right, guys. See you for the next one soon.
See ya.
Bye.